Hello, today I want to talk to you about an instrument called the Petrophone. It's right here and I'm going to play it here in just a minute, but it's similar to a xylophone, only it's made by hand. This instrument was gifted to me by a good friend. It was my best friend's father who died this summer, and he had been working on this as a geologist when he was at school at Virginia Tech. He discovered that there was a quarry in Buckingham County, Virginia, it's called Arvonia, that has slate. The slate, which is just this black kind of rock, thin rock, many of you have slate floors, has a particular resonance to it, but it's only found there. It hasn't been discovered in but a couple of places around that he was ever able to discover. And recently I had an article written about his work in the Farmville Herald. This one was dated November 6th, 2020. And what he discovered is this particular slate had a ring to it. And the reason it was gifted to us is that Jack and I, my husband and I, went to the slate company because he had moved to Michigan years ago and became too old to travel, and he needed some more slate to complete his scale. So we went over and discovered, and they had a scrap pile, and they were perfectly willing for us to go through the scrap pile and select some slate. And as you will hear, this particular slate has a tone to it. So it resonates, and we have been experimenting with it since we were gifted this, and discovered that the way that you change the tones in the pieces of slate is by adjusting the size of it. It could be the length or it could be the width. And he had some holes drilled into the slate, and we haven't discovered yet how that changes the resonance, but we're still experimenting. But I wanted to share this with you. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate what we've got going here. Jack and I have been able to get a full octave, but we haven't worked on the upper end, so you'll hear some of them are out of tune. They're not quite tuned yet. So we think that we're starting with a G on this end, and this end, you could know that as things get smaller, they're higher. So we don't have a chromatic scale, but we have a G scale. So that's pretty darn close, but as we proceed, you'll hear that some notes are not quite in tune. So that's what we've got to work with here, and we're still working on it. Now, Dr. Dietrich had suggested and had done this with his scale, is to put little pads underneath, and that really does help the resonance, and then these pegs that hold each of the keys on. So let me just play a quick little tune for you. So it's an amazing little homemade instrument that I just feel very fortunate to have been given, and I just wanted to share that with you. So again, this is called a petrophone, much like a xylophone, but a petrophone. I think they used to use this for their dinner bell at the house when they were growing up, so it makes quite a wonderful tune.